Is it time to give up music? That's a tough question. That's never like a fun day. It's never a fun moment in your life. You're like, am I throwing my dreams away? Am I giving up on everything? That's never a fun moment. And I just wanted to talk about that moment because a lot of people I know have gone through it of what am I doing? Should I even be in this? And the answer is maybe. Maybe not. There's plenty of people I've known that have given up music, and already given up music doesn't make any sense because you're not giving up music. You're giving up a certain career. You're giving up music as your primary source of income, and the idea that that would happen. But everyone I've known that's given it up still plays their instrument, maybe branches out into other instruments, still play in bands, still gig, like still make albums, still make music. Like they haven't really given up music at all. They've just kind of released themselves from the pressure of, oh man, I need to make money and it needs to be for music. That's a real pressure. You're not giving up music. And then there's the, well, it must mean I suck because if you fail if you fail at a career in music, it means you're a failure at life and you know, you were never good at music or art or whatever in the first place. Also not true. There's only so many people that can make it work, and also like luck plays into things. It's not always so cut and dry. But what is cut and dry is money. And if you make none of it, maybe after some years of giving it a shot, it's something to think about. Do I move on? What do I move on to? And I say a couple of years because, embarking, say you go to music school or don't or whatever you do, you get into a scene, you move to a big city, you get into a scene, you try to make a career in music. It's not unlike people, I didn't do this, but I know people who did it, like go backpacking or take a year off between like high school and college, whatever that is. I imagine it's probably similar. You're just kind of floating around, not really, kind of figuring stuff out right now, like that kind of thing. That's kind of how maybe the beginning in music can feel. You go like, wait, I could do that? Wait, I can make money doing this? Wait, is this a thing? Wait, should I give that a shot? Should I hang out with these people? What about this neighborhood? It's a lot of figuring stuff out. Music towns like, LA, Nashville, New York, Chicago, Austin, etc. There's a lot of different pockets that you're going to want to get to know. And the bigger the city, the more there is. A little bit about me. I spent like half a decade in New York. It's been almost a half a decade in LA. There are so many different places in both cities and so many different pockets of musicians to meet. And so many different like dominating styles. It can take a long time and sometimes feels like you're just kind of like, again, I guess backpacking through the town you live in. A little bit dramatic, I'll give you that. This whole giving up music thing, like what would it mean for me if I gave up music? It would mean I would need to start doing something else. Would I have like an LA garage sale where I don't have awesome gear? I have gear I love that I think is awesome, but I don't have like a $10,000 private stock PRS, for instance. I'm talking about like when like I had a student once who went to a garage sale and for like $600 got a Les Paul that was worth $5,000 and like a Strat that was worth like $3,000 or something. It was something absurd. He made a lot of money and then spent a lot of it on really wonderful gear. No, I would have a much more modest sale. I don't know. I've seen that certain people have a hard time figuring that out. And that's not a reason to stay in anything because you don't know what else you would do, or like you don't know if things aren't working out over years. By working out, I don't mean making $500,000 a year. I mean making a living. I once heard an interview with someone who said if things aren't working out, like you should probably consider giving up. And he played like random instrumental fusion. I imagine he's not a millionaire just from the state of fusion. There's different barometers. Look up the average income for a musician. You'll probably find like 30 to 60,000. I think he meant if you're not making somewhere around that after a few years, maybe consider something else. That's a working musician though, so I don't know someone who plays in one band. I have no idea. Is it time to give up music? I guess again, you're not going to give up your community. People who love music want to be around people who love music. Anytime I've played a show, I always joke with friends like, there's certain people who have long hair and dress a certain way. I get that I'm like 30 wearing a He-Man shirt. I understand that. But you know what I mean, like the rock star dudes, like people who've never buttoned their shirt up. Have long hair and the thing and wear the guitar super low. I'm not that guy. I play a show. I look like this. I get a lot of music fan uncles coming up going like, hey, I saw you play like some harmonic thing or whatever. I connect with those guys. I can tell they're music fans. I can tell they love music. We always end up connecting on it. I love those dudes. And the idea that like they would ever feel shame for not being in the music industry or not feel good enough, or we were like, I tried music for a while, but I quit. But you keep on, man. They love that stuff. I love hanging out with them. And I'm saying, so like you give up music to become someone who plays music all the time and supports live music. Great. You're helping the community you love. It's a little bit of a tangent. Yeah, there's plenty of things you can do outside of music. So maybe it's something to think about. So these are some tough questions that I hold. I've played music for the last decade professionally, holding odd jobs every now and again throughout it, for sure, especially in New York. And then I've also always taught, because there's something about a low voice and, again, a shaved head or something that people are like, he looks like he knows something and can speak about it quietly. Like, you bet I can. I've always enjoyed when lessons got a little bit like, if you're a teacher, sometimes, and if you've ever taken a guitar lesson, you know that lessons can sometimes end up being almost a therapy session. And I've always actually liked that. It never made me that uncomfortable. I know there's a lot of questions out there that are really tough that sometimes get answered with like little cliches and platitudes of just like, well, hang in there, and it's one day at a time, and one step in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, and all this other stuff. And the worst one being like, well, a true artist never gives up. Like, great, I was having doubts, and now I'm guilty. Like, and now I'm not a true artist. Sweet, thank you for adding that pressure. I find that stuff to be completely useless, not helpful, not realistic, and I really enjoy having conversations about stuff, some trickier questions, in a way that can actually help people, myself included. So if you feel free to ask anything, feel free to pose any questions. I would really appreciate it. I love having these talks, so the cringier the question, the better. Unless it's just weird, nah. Let them all through. So if I don't want to answer it, I just won't. So thanks for watching. Please comment below. Thanks.